Hello, Grapevine 911. You need help? Are you sick? What was that? Do you need an ambulance or police? Hello? One moment. I'm just getting heavy breathing on the phone and I'm trying to talk to you, so please send me.
It's Christmas, a time for relaxing with family and friends, a time for drinking and eating nice food, a time for making memories, all while remembering the reasons for Christmas, the birth of Christ. So imagine this, you're still in your Christmas pyjamas, you're sat ripping apart the gift wrap in front of the fire and there's a knock on the door, you answer and there standing in the doorway is Santa. Well, a man dressed as Santa carrying gifts, and when he speaks, it's your ex-husband, your father, your uncle, your brother-in-law, and you invite him in. And from nowhere, he starts shooting at everyone in the house, killing his estranged wife, his children, the nephews and nieces, his sister-in-law and brother-in-law, before calling the police like a coward and then turns it on himself. Police arrived on the scene to find 7 bodies among scattered wrapping paper on the floor. Aziz, 56, an Iranian-born father of 2, had killed his estranged wife, their 2 teenage children, his wife's sister, his wife's brother-in-law, and niece at the gathering. Well, this is what one family had to deal with on Christmas Day. Aziz was a former real estate professional who was out of work at the time of the killings. In 1996, he was placed on 3 years probation after pleading guilty to 1 count of subscribing to a false income tax return. And according to federal court records, he was fined $1,000 and required to pay $30,000 in restitution. So in August 2010, Aziz and his wife filed jointly for bankruptcy. Aziz had always forbidden his wife to work, but at this point was not possible. But once he was unemployed and their family's financial situation intensified, he changed his mind. Fatima, his wife, who had a state cosmetology license, held down 2 jobs at spas and continued to raise their children. In April 2011, just months before the shooting, Fatima had moved out of the family's home in Colleyville and into an apartment complex just 2 miles away. The financial struggles, the ongoing problems within the family had caused unrest, with arguing with her husband Aziz. She just couldn't do it anymore and needed space. Aziz remained in the Colleyville family home, which was often without electricity as he continued to struggle financially and was not willing to just give up the house. But that Christmas, Fatima had planned a gathering at her apartment complex, but her ex was not invited. He was aware of the gathering and annoyed at the lack of the invite as his wife and children enjoyed their Christmas day without him. Aziz could not stay away. He planned to arrive in style, dressed as Santa and carrying gifts. But he knew he would not be turned away, especially for the kids' sake. But just minutes earlier, his niece, the 22-year-old Sarah Fatima, who was at the gathering, also texted her boyfriend when she arrived. She said, "We've arrived. We've just got here and my uncle is here too. Dressed as Santa. Awesome," she said in a text just before 11 a.m. She then texted again at 11:15 a.m. saying now he wants to be all fatherly and win Father of the Year. But within 20 minutes, 6 family members had been fatally gunned down. The man in the red and white Santa suit called 911 to report the murders himself, hung up and then turned the gun on himself. Police arrived at the horrific scene at the Lincoln Vineyards apartments 3 minutes after Aziz had made the 911 call. The Grapevine Police Sergeant Robert Eberling said that he had to kick in the door when he found 7 bodies among opened gift wrap on the living room floor. The lounge television was on and one of the victims was still wearing pyjamas. Aziz had shot and killed his estranged wife, Fatima. who was 55. Their 14-year-old son, Ali. Their 19-year-old daughter, Nona. He also killed his wife's sister, Zoria, who was 58, and her husband, Mohammed, who was 59, as well as their daughter, Sarah, 22. Aziz's wife was shot once in the head, and the brother-in-law was shot multiple times in the head, chest and stomach. A medical examiner's report later revealed that his own son, daughter, niece and sister-in-law were shot multiple times in the head also. 2 handguns were found at the scene, a 9mm that was purchased in 1996 and registered to Aziz was on scene, and a .40 caliber, police said. I've been in the police department for 12 years, and this is probably one of the most tragic things I've ever been involved with. The dislike among family members for Aziz and the fact that Aziz was apparently told he wasn't welcome at the gathering may have been the final breaking point for him, feeling isolated, losing his wife, his children as well as his career, being prosecuted and now being on the breadline, about to lose his home. Aziz had told a friend that he felt his sister-in-law had control over his wife and she would listen to her when she called him evil. But despite this, Aziz was planning to attend the Christmas morning gathering that was being hosted by his estranged wife's sister despite feeling unwelcome. A recording of the 911 call captured the chilling last words of the gunman, who admitted to the dispatcher that he was shooting people. After slaughtering 6 people, Aziz made the call at 11:34 a.m, where he was heard saying, "Help, help, I'm shooting people," followed by heavy breathing before the line went dead and he shot himself. Police believe that before Aziz killed himself, he tried to stage the scene by placing one of the guns used in the slaying next to his brother-in-law Mohammed, but investigators determined that he had been shot with both weapons and that Aziz was the only one to fire the weapons. It's possible that Aziz's marital and financial troubles led him to kill his entire family. When he realised that he was in a rut and he wasn't going to get out of it, he wasn't going to get his family back, and didn't know what life had in store for him anymore. But this massacre remains the deadliest crime in the history of Grapevine. They have never really encountered a situation with this many victims at one time, shot and killed. It's something we will never understand, because Aziz is not here to tell us what was going through his mind at the time. These young children had their whole lives ahead of them, and they will never get to live them. It's unknown what was going through his ex-wife's head at the time, and whether or not she was struggling to get a divorce and move on with her life. I'm sure there are a lot of unanswered questions in this case, a lot of questions that we will never get the answers to. My heart goes out to everyone involved in this case. These families now have a legacy that every Christmas they remember the mass shootings of their family members that they will never see again. Thank you for listening, guys. Take care, remain safe, and I'll be back with you again soon. Bye for now.